No owl this morning, I'm sorry, that's done. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to be making some noise this morning, unlike yesterday. Does it show? Is that the same chat window or is it a different chat window? What are we happening here? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. It is there, it is up. Okay, good, good, good. Having a late breakfast here. Bit of a chaos this morning getting ready for this thing. Excuse me while I eat my breakfast, sorry. It's mikan season here in Japan. They're all over the place. Everybody keeps sending us boxes of them as gifts. Okay. We're going to make some noise. Not for too long though. It's the last block. The color blocks for the New Year's card. Where are we at? For people who don't know what's going on here. Key block is finished for the New Year's card. A few days ago. There's going to be 4 color blocks. We're putting on one piece of wood for now. 1, 2, 3, and I've got the final one, the 4th one. It's the area for her head. I just finished it a few minutes ago actually, carving around the outside of it. Now we're going to clear it off. And we're really getting struck for time now, so. What am I? Okay, let's do this. On a warning for headphones, everybody. It's going to be noisy for the first few minutes here. Forgot myself here. Still see? Thanks. Did somebody say I came for the ASMR? Not this morning, I guess. Sorry about this. Excuse me. Just be a few minutes of noise, then we'll be settling down to quiet work. another reservation. We're full today already. It's going to be parties morning till night today. And I'm on duty. I'm one of the hosts today. So. Okay, that's it for the noise. Now quiet. What's been going on over here? Dave got his new camera. No, not yet. I'm sorry. It's on my list. We got just snowed last week. Sorry. Hello. The owl orders last week just tsunami'd us. Yes, everything went by the board. All of the plans we had for things just got snowed by the owls. Excuse me. It's settled down a bit now. So, and I had a day yesterday out in Omate. So we're sort of back to normal right now. Things are settling down a little bit. There are still owl orders coming in, but not much bigger than the pace at which we can make them, so we're okay. Okay. As it says in the little stream, what's that thing called? The little words that are running below the bottom of the video there. I forget the name for that thing. As it says, there's 2 jobs on the deck this morning, and they've both really got to be finished because I know. Because one of them is way behind. I know. I'm going to do this block here, and as soon as this block's finished, I'm going to switch to another job that perhaps most of you haven't seen before. I'm going to be using my printing tools. I'm going to be putting the embossing on one of the new Heroes prints, or a new batch of Heroes prints. Whatever, talk about it when we get there in a few minutes. And it's going to take most of my time this morning. But this has got to be finished because the test printing for the New Year's card is scheduled this afternoon. Aimi-san's dropping by for a while. She's off on her baby leave, but she still wants bits and pieces of gentle, soft work to do. So, and doing the test printing on this is perfect for that. Can't see where I am here, what's in and what's out. Hey, a question, just a minute. An official question. Yeah, the question is my email is on a 5-minute check. I don't check every minute, or it's not one of those push emails. So it's a 5-minute check. So when you send it, okay, there's a couple things. Okay, this is what Higurashi Madness. There's a ton of emails yesterday. Was it you that sent me all those images? I haven't even looked at them yet. I'm sorry. We're kind of a little busy here right now, and if I get a chance this afternoon, I'll take a peek at them, your images. But no. Where am I? Looking for questions. Here we go. Okay, question. Oh, good. Okay, thank you. He's got the ebook that I put out a while back, and there's a sample print in there, and he's carving the sample image that's in there on Sheena plywood. Okay, feel like I'm stressing my joints too much. You mean like your joints? If you're carving Sheena, there should be pretty much no pressure at all. It's very soft wood. You don't need to go too deep. There shouldn't be any physical stress at all. You see, I'm stressing my joints. If you mean like your hands and stuff, then maybe you're pushing too hard. I don't know. Sheena plywood's very soft. Just you touch it. How can I describe in words? I don't know. Just the other thing to do too, whatever the hardness of the wood is, I don't know, maybe it's the same thing here. The harder the wood is, the less you take off with any given stroke. When I was banging a minute ago, if it had been soft wood, I could have ripped off centimeters at one time. Because it's hard wood, I take off millimeters at a time. So I'm not sure what to say, really, Even with the hardest wood, which is really difficult and tough, there's still no stress because we're just taking off a little bit at a time. Same right here with what I'm doing. It's just gentle, peaceful work, even though this is actually very hard cherry wood. Chup, 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 just nibbling really. Another question, just a moment, let me finish this corner. For every question, I should eat a slice of mikan. Again, it's a follow-up question to before about cutting on Sheena plywood. I don't really know. The only experience in my life I have of cutting on Sheena plywood is when I made that little book. So I don't really know what to say. It's very, very, very soft. And how deep to cut is not a question of what kind of wood you've got. How deep to cut is how much you need to get away because of what you're going to be printing. But that doesn't depend on the wood. That depends on the paper. When it comes time to start printing, if it's a good, strong, thick, heavy paper or whatever that won't warp, then you don't have to go deep at all because it doesn't fall down. But if your paper is soft and wobbly and wet, it'll fall into those holes. You have to go deeper. So depth is really nothing to do with the kind of wood. It's to do with how you're going to be printing and what kind of tools you're going to print with. Again, don't worry about it. Just experiment. Just cut something, cut a block, try printing. If you find you've got a lot of mess in this area, then you've got to go deeper. Let your experience be the guide. Don't worry too much. Experience. Everybody asks about these things, and I guess that's okay. But there's no. Just experience is going to tell you these things. Rather than learning through ears or something, you learn through the actual experience. Okay, I think that's good to go. Color blocks for the New Year's card are now. Oh no! Look at this. I forgot. Look at this. One corner I forgot. Not done. I'll need to bring out my lens for that. That's too small. Where are we? Can you see it there? We have uncarved. This is the noodle. She's dropping a noodle into the dog's mouth, and I think we got it. Let's try. Should just take a bite. So I was interrupted yesterday just when I was finishing this. Not yesterday, Monday. Another question. Actually, this wood is a bit too soft for things like this noodle. This is a color block, so we selected a softer piece of wood. Shouldn't be carving fine lines on it like this noodle, but I think it'll get away with it. We'll see. I heard the question, but let me get this first. Let me get this out of the way. we're done. Okay, there we are. So there we are. There's the 4 color blocks for the New Year's card. I keep calling it New Year's card. It's a New Year's print. And people in Japan send New Year's cards. They're on thick post office postcard. We can't print on that stuff. It's too thick. So we make normal woodblock prints, put them in an envelope, and send them out that way. Okay, that part of the job is done. Next up is this. But I heard a question, I think, so hang on a sec. So as we said, I got my bolt, my orange here. Every time I ask questions, is that it? It's a generic question about art. I know somebody's asking about how do I get my ideas for prints. And remember, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm not an artist. I don't design prints here. I'm not sure if you're a long-time viewer of what we're doing or if you know what's going on here, but this is a craft shop. We make prints here, but we don't actually design anything. You know, in the case of our Ukiyo-e Heroes prints, they're designed outside over in America by Jed Henry. That owl print we just finished, that was designed by a long-dead Hiroshige from hundreds of years ago. So asking me about where I get my designs is not really whatever, it's not my job. We don't do that here. So, okay, explanation. What's coming up next? Now, what we have is this. Monday. I need a pair of scissors or a knife. I don't have a knife. Oh, let's do this. I'm not supposed to do this, but whatever. Right. This is one of the Ukiyo-e Heroes prints. It's still selling very well 5 years after we first published it. The blocks are still in wonderful condition. We're still getting orders for these prints. What we have here is a batch of freshly minted, freshly finished prints of the rickshaw cart design. This came back from our most senior printer. This is Kubota Kenichi, the guy who's been working for us for a few years now. He used to work for the Adachi Studios. Now he's working for us pretty much full-time. And this is a fresh batch of the first print in the Ukiyo-e Heroes series, the rickshaw cart. And they come to my desk. Actually, there's 2 types here. We've got some which we print on wider paper. And if you followed the last Kickstarter campaign, you'll know that we're planning on making some books. Well, we bind the prints together. And for that, we need the extra paper at the right so we can bind them into book shape. So, anyway, what's going to happen today is this. I have on my desk a board. It's got a registration mark on it, and it's got this. And this is not something I carve. This is done with the usual laser thing. And it's for lettering. And it says at the top, Hori, carving, Buru, that's me, Dave Bull. And it says Suri, Kubota Kenichi, and that's the printer's name. So what we're doing here is I'm going to emboss these prints with the printer's name. And I think the location, if I get it right here, just right here, the print goes down, it gets rubbed on the back, and bingo, the embossing is done. But there's a little bit of a twist in that we normally do the embossing while we are doing the printing, and the paper is moist. And Kubota-san doesn't like to do that himself. He says, you guys take care of that job, please. So I get stuck with doing it myself. But the paper is now dry. You can't do embossing on dry paper. So what I'm going to set up here, and you can probably see it out by my left. Let's do it this way. Let's move things over a bit. Let's do it this way. I've got a piece of, I don't know, what do you call it? Like paper towel or something. I know, you know, he should be doing this job himself. He should be doing the embossing. But he's an old-fashioned guy. He's really, really, really an old-fashioned guy. And his idea is that prints, whatever, they get the artist name on them. The craftsman, who cares? The craftsman should be in the background, none of that stuff. They shouldn't be part of the, you know, on the front, whatever. And I'm like, no, we want to show the craftsman's names. I'd like to put 20 names on this. Of course, the carver printer, Jed's going to sign it. He's going to have his own name on the front of it. The carver, the printer, at the minimum. I want the paper maker, you know, how far do you go? It would get silly to have them all on the front of the thing, but I'd like to have some sort of documentation with each one of these. Letting people know about all the craftsmen that were involved in making the things, you know. He says, no, I don't care. Just forget that stuff. Too lazy. And it takes time, which he doesn't want to do, so. So anyway, what I'll do is I'll find one here. There's a few, I don't know, rejected prints here. Yeah, you know, for example here, this is probably the first one in the batch. It's rejected. The color is weak and splotchy and it's not a good thing. So this will be rejected. Totally rejected. So I'll use one of those just to get my location set here. I think we're good to go. And I don't know if it's going to be able to show on the camera. Does it show? Yeah, maybe it does. There it is. Hori, Buru, Suri, Kubota, Keiichi. Okay, we'll leave off the rejected ones. And here we are. Let's get going. 100, and I think it's 120 of them or something in here. This is my job for the next hour or so. I don't think it's tilted. I think the edge of that paper actually is a bit off. Let's try. Go to that corner. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Let's go. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Prints are being rejected. You know, they always do. I know when we start a batch of prints, if we're looking to make 100 or so, we'll start with, I don't know, depends on the complexity of the print, we'll start with more. When I order 100 from Kubota-san, he expects me to send him 110 sheets of paper. So I will get maybe 100 prints, I might get 105 good prints, I might get 95 prints. I don't know, it all depends on the complexity of the print. And there's all kinds of things that can go wrong, you know. When we look at the rejected ones here, you know, someone who doesn't know, they might look okay, but there's all kinds of stuff that can be wrong with them, you know. We try and find something that's a bit more visible to you. Now, he's a good printer, so it's not that they stay here. Okay, here's one. And when we size the paper, we're sizing it with glue. We melt glue and rub it over. And here's one place where the glue was still a blob of glue, and it looked clear. So when he was printing, he couldn't tell until he printed that color, and bang, out it came. We can't send that out. I'm sure there's people out there say, "Oh, give it to me, or sell it to me for half price or something." We don't want prints like this out in the world, you know. In any manufacturing process, when they print your newspapers, the first 1,000 copies probably get ripped up on the floor while the printing press gets warmed up, you know. It's part of a mechanical process. You know. So there's always some rejected prints. Back in the Ome workshop up there, we have, what am I doing? It's this side. Back in the Ome workshop, we have boxes and boxes full. You know, I've been making prints now for, what is it, here in Japan since like 1989. And you wouldn't believe the boxes of rejected prints I have over there. You know? Let's keep getting this upside down. Okay, somebody's sending a picture here. He's making a print from my ebook. It looks very, very nice and clean. I suspect some of it may not quite be deep enough, but I can't tell from the picture really. I think when you print, some of those wide open areas may have to go a little bit deeper, but it's very nice, very neat and very clean. Looks beautiful. Beautiful, very nice. It's fun to see people doing this stuff, you know, it's fun. Well, sometimes people ask about the rejected stuff. Could we recycle the washi paper? The washi fiber, and in fact, I was thinking about that years and years ago when I was first in the printmaking thing. I asked our paper, excuse me, I'm very sorry about that, sorry. I asked our papermaker, would he take back all my rejected prints and to throw the paper fiber back into the mix, And he said, no can do. Because of the pigment here, the fact that there's pigment on this stuff, it just muddies it up. Why did we do this with the Baron and not a press? Well, this is a press. It's a human muscle-powered operated press. It's an extremely efficient tool. I know. We can apply pressure just here and just here and just here and just here and just here. This is a stunningly efficient, wonderful tool, you know. It's also pleasure, you know, I guess, whatever. Somebody who hasn't done this or doesn't know the feeling or whatever. This is such a pleasure to use this thing, you know. It looks so simple, but it's actually really, really, you know, a high-touch, sophisticated tool. Not sure what you're talking about here. I know we cut this with a laser, you know. Should I carve those by hand, every one of those? I'm not really sure. Where do we draw the line about using the tools? To cut the actual block with a laser, it's obviously not under consideration for us. We think of the prints as being, you know, handmade woodblock prints, so that's what we do. But to put this embossing on, if I'm doing this with a laser, is that, I don't know. Where do we draw these lines? Hori Buru Suri Kubota Keiichi. Some of the paper is really, really thick. How long do the embossing blocks last? No idea. I haven't worn one out yet. There's not much pressure. You know, when we get wear on our blocks, as blocks get older and more worn, the wear almost all comes from the pigment. The brush rubbing the pigment on the block. Because the pigment actually is powder pigment. The pigments are powder pigments, so they're actually fine, fine, fine particles. And when we use the brush and rub the pigment across the block, that's what's causing the wear and tear on the lines of the block. The actual vertical pressure of this tool, Baron, it doesn't cause much wear at all. So a block like this, it's just for embossing. There's almost no wear on it, nothing. The wear comes from the pigments. And on an embossing block, there aren't any. So this is going to last for, who knows, a long time. Huge. We've sent out more than 1,000 of these on this particular design. It's still sharp and clear, you know. The design itself, no matter how close you get, the fine lines, his mustache, his hair, the fine lines of the fingers. We've made over 1,000 of these. And there's no detectable wear. Look, the tiny places in his hat, the fingers, the spokes, the fine lines of the spokes. There's nothing. There's absolutely no wear anywhere. And we're over 1,000 copies on this. Morning, sir. Hello. Embossing this morning. Very quiet job here. Everybody on stream is going to sleep. I didn't mean you had to tiptoe around.
I don't think I've ever seen this one.
The print?
No, I've never seen embossing before.
Now, it should be done by the printer. Kubota-san should be doing this himself. All our other printers, the girls upstairs, they do it themselves. But Kubota-san, he's an old-fashioned craftsman. I don't want my name on the print, so it's okay. Not that I don't want my name on, but we don't need that. And I think he's just being lazy. He doesn't want to do the extra step. It's like one extra color.
Yeah.
So he said, no, forget it. But we really want these names on there.
Yeah.
So we're using a laser block. It's an Aoyama-san did run off a laser block.
Oh, wow.
And we get them, what's it called? I know, polymer plates. You know, you send it out to a printing company, they make a plastic plate and stuff like that. You know.
Neat. I'll go print that document you sent to me. But
remind me. Oh yeah, see, it's okay. We have to ship that today from here, so just sometime today.
Okay,
Yep.
Cool. I've never seen it.
Look at that. He didn't even stop and say hello to you guys. Kids these days. Sizing flaked off. I like how you look at the camera, but the camera only sees your hands. Oops, did I screw that up? I was looking at the little screen here. Oh well, sorry about that. Go back about 3 prints. The sizing flaked off. Not sure what I'm looking for. Sizing flaked off. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. I'm sorry. The print that I showed a few minutes ago, right near the detail in the hat you were showing us. A little white dot, maybe? Is that what we're talking about? There's a little tiny white dot there. Is that what we're talking about? Was that it? A little bit of dust, a dust mote? I don't know. Perfection, the quest for perfection. How perfect do they have to be? Good question. We've talked about this before, the paradox of our job. We want these things to be, quote, perfect, unquote. We want them all to look exactly like the sample. So if that was the goal, why wouldn't we get machines to make them like iPhones or Toyota cars or whatever, you know? Then everything will be exactly the same. It's called a printing press. It does that job, you know. And yet we still want them to be handmade. So it's a kind of a paradox in what we're doing. And frequently we hear people in the shop here, oh, I love the handmade things because everyone is different. And when I hear that, I get stabbed in the guts, because for us, the goal is that every one of these things should be exactly the same. Because there we are, Jed's model is there. I did the test printing. We want just exactly this shade of red. And if the printers vary from that, it's a mistake. But it's clearly a paradox, because we and our customers and collectors and fans all want handmade stuff. And handmade equals variation and, taste and all that kind of stuff. So there's a real paradox in what we're doing. But at the end of the day, given that paradox, we're trying to achieve this goal of the perfect print that matches that sample. As long as we really try and get there, then we've got a product that is beautiful and is worth owning. If we're careless, it doesn't matter, that color's okay, who cares? Then we slip and slip and slip and slip and slip. And the thing we're making just becomes, to me, without value, without not monetary value, but without meaning. So it's a bit paradoxical. The goal is perfection. We can't get there, but the fun is in the trying. And we end up with a beautiful, beautiful result. Another fun part of this too is thinking about where these things are going to go, This is like sort of a family. It's kids here. They're one after the other. They've all grown up together. They've been, born together and grew up together. Then at some point, bang, out they go into the wide world one by one. And these prints are going to go, well, first they go in a batch. They'll all go together to America, to Jed's place. He will sign them and put his seal on each one. So at that point, they're still together. And they'll just get, his own check and his own sign and seal. And they go into a stack there. And then as the orders come into his website, boom, 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 out they go. Who knows where? The two pieces of paper that have been side by side all through the whole process, one will end up in America, one will end up in Australia or Kazakhstan or who knows, A bunch of them come back here. We buy them from Jed to put in our shop here. Those are the funny ones, He sent me the design, I carved it, we print them here, we send them back to Jed, we buy some, we bring them back here, put them in our shop, just meters from where they were made. So some of these are going to be coming back to me 3 months from now after we buy them from Jed, wholesale, to put into our shop, Somebody's asking what we're doing today. Okay, well, let's run it again. Now, this is a fresh batch of prints back from our top senior printer. And the prints themselves are ready, but they need the name. What's that phrase? The quality goes in before the name goes on. We're being embossed today. The print is finished a few days ago. Now we're embossing. Hori, Buru, the carver, David Bo. Suri, Kubota Kenichi. Printer, Mr. Kubota Kenichi. This is getting embossed on the side of each print. I'm doing that with a little casual block we've made. We just run it up with a laser printer. We make these easily. It's in reverse, of course. And the slight problem here, the paper has become dried. This should have been done while the paper was moist during the printing stage. But it didn't get done, so I have to slightly dampen the paper here on a piece of wet cloth before embossing it. Somebody said, what is it? Paste blob near arm between rickshaws. Okay, hang on a sec. Somebody's determined to chase something down here. How many back is it now? 10 or 15 or 20 back? I didn't keep track. Hang on. Excuse me while I look at what this is. How do I see this? So I see a tiny image. I have no idea where it jumped me to. Oh, what's going on now? Twitch has given me a funny window. Tiny places in his hat. Fingers. We've made over 1,000 of these. I can't actually see this thing, but it's done something funny to my browser here. A paste blob. It's beneath the yellow paw. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. I see. What have we got? Let me get the scope out, have a look at this. What have we got here? What is that? Yeah, that's the same thing. Okay, what that is there's this area here which has got shiny glue which didn't get the color from the background. So yeah, it was a blob of Nikawa when we did the sizing. Look at this. You got it? This is cool. The very one that I picked up to try and show you that the print was perfect has this defect on it, which I didn't see. I mean, who's watching here from upstairs to guide all this? Really? You get it? So this one goes into the reject pile. Hey, corner off. into the reject pile. Upside down. Good catch, whoever you are. I'm sorry I don't know your name. Good catch. John, is it you there that's caught that back first? Who was the first guy that caught it? Gray area. Soka. John, all right, thank you. It is somebody I know. Sorry, to John Becker. He's a long-term and a supporter and friend. Eagle Eye. You should change your Twitch handle. Eagle Eye Becker. Maybe we should hire you to do the last check through all these prints. Make it your responsibility. But what are the odds on that? The one print in the batch that I pick up, the one area that I show at the same moment that somebody's looking, I mean, come on. It's not like that is on every print, you know. What are the odds on that? So it's easy to criticize somebody else's work, right? But not so easy for your own work. That's the way it goes, isn't it? That's life. It's like testing software. You know. You just can't do it yourself. You have to call somebody else. Maybe we should do that, actually. Have somebody else sit here and check these prints one by one. Although that's actually almost an impossible job to do. You sit there with a stack of 100 prints to try and check them for defects. You know, the first one you can check, the second one you can check, you know, and the third one. And you know where it's going. By the time you get to number 96, 97, 98, you just can't see it anymore. You know, the thing just goes blah, blah, blah. Printers do have a small little trick that we use sometimes when we're checking the prints during the printing run, because it's really dangerous. If you don't find the mistakes during the printing run, you're in trouble. And one way is we check it like this. We look at the picture. So we check it like this, upside down. And we don't see the picture anymore. And you see things like that little sizing defect and stuff like that. They really do tend to pop out more. So actually, if I was really hip to this, if I was really being more careful today, I should be checking them upside down rather than straight ahead, because it's much easier to see the strangeness. Our brains just, we see the picture, we see the characters, you know. Yeah, crowdsource it. Scan every one, put them all up there, ask people to find mistakes. Do it like the astronomers do. No, really, I should have been doing it like this. Pull it off, check it, upside down. Those things really pop out much easier this way. Yeah. It's not like I don't have any experience at this. Yeah. Twitch 24/7, like I need that, you know. Well, living in the reality TV or whatever it's called, you know. World famous, not a goal of mine. Oh, question. World famous. Okay, we're at, 2 questions. Bang, side by side. Height. Yeah. Flight of fantasy. Okay, 2 questions. One is about hands and exercise and stuff, and I know. No, I don't do anything. People are asking you, what do I have for an exercise routine to keep in shape and all that stuff, and I don't do anything. I know the fact that I carve a little bit this morning, then I'm doing this print, then I'm going to go and do a print party this morning, then I've got a bunch of bookkeeping to do. All day long, different work, different stuff, different things. So it keeps you in shape, you know, there's no specific, routine I have to try and stay in good condition. You know, so then the other question, it's about the same thing that I'm doing now. The gentleman asking, he's got a copy of one of these Ukiyo Heroes prints. Must be from about a year ago, is it? Or 6 months ago? I'm not quite sure. And his print doesn't have this embossing. And this is right when me and Kubota-san were wrestling with this. That Final Fantasy print you've got, not Flight of Fantasy print you've got, doesn't have the embossing. It was made by Kubota-san. And at that time he was saying, no names. I don't want my name associated with this. And I should have really put my foot down and said, you want to work for me? Your name goes on this stuff. But I didn't. I should have been much stronger with him. You know. But at that time we needed his work really desperately. We were really short for printers. I'm trying to get the guy to work for us. So I gave in and said, okay. We got the batches of prints from him. There was a whole batch, about 6 months. There were some of these rickshaw carts, the Flight of Fantasy. What else did he make for us? I think he made some of the Blue Storm prints. And I let them go through without the embossing. And I really regret that. So the print you've got is one of those from the same kind of group. It's made by Kubota-san exactly the same way, but it doesn't have the embossing on it. It's got Jed's signature, Jed's seal, I think Jed numbers some of them his own way. Not limited edition numbers, but he numbers them sequentially going up. So what you have there, the person just asked this question, what you have there is one of those. You know. I'm not going to do that again. Absolutely. These prints now all get this embossing. Whether he likes it or not, I don't care. A little more value or a little less value, I don't know, who knows? No idea. No idea. There's no concern about, where the thing was made. These blocks have lived here. They permanently live here. There's no other people can make these heroes prints other than us. So any of the heroes prints that are out in the world are clearly from this workshop. There's no other possibility. So it is curious though, as time goes by. Suppose, I get older, whatever, the business here maybe is not so successful, or there's no succession or something. Mokuhankan closes. The blocks are here. What happens to the blocks? They get sold off or something, or some go to the dumpsters, some get picked up by collectors or something. Who knows? We're talking about 20, 30, 40, 50 years, after I'm gone and the business doesn't succeed, maybe. The blocks are still there. So we're at 2070 or something. These blocks are out in the world. People are going to pick them up and someone's going to try printing them, So at that point, somewhere in the future, there's going to be some kind of strange-looking editions of these things printed. Maybe our legacy will be there'll be so many good printers in the world they can be printed better than we're doing it, or maybe printmaking collapses and nobody knows how to use the blocks. So I don't know what happens in the future with these blocks. Those prints wouldn't have Jed's seal and signature unless he's part of that project to use them in the future. I don't know, no idea. He's much younger than me, of course. So I don't know. All we can do is just keep our own standards as high as we can. Document well what we do. We're showing all the time. And maybe whatever 100 years from now, it's like the situation with the Great Wave now. We've got a bunch of these prints left from the old days, but nobody knows which ones are original or which ones are forgeries or whatever. Maybe as we speak, somebody in China is making 3D printing plates and making their own copies of these prints. I don't know. Who knows? There's no way they can print them like we can, of course. The washi is identifiable, the pigments, the style, everything. Next group are the wide ones with a wider washi. And again, the printer, Kubota-san, he's identified already. He's cut the corner off some of these, so he's thinking these are the no good ones. And sometimes it's a game. You look at them and think, why did he reject this? It's the same thing, trying to find there's something wrong with it that would have caused him to cut the corner off. At first glance, I can't find it. Why did he reject this one? So these are maybe early copies. He was just getting the pigments warmed up. So speckle color, too much water. He's just getting warmed up at this point. These must have been the earliest parts of his print run. There's a spot. So too much pressure here. No idea. I can't find why he's rejected them, but I think for the moment I'll just leave him. There's something there that he's noticed that I haven't noticed. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, leave those aside. These are the ones that he has thought are okay. But as we saw before, though, it's still, there could be mistakes in them. We saw that, bit of glue. This is where the binding is going to go. These will be bound into book shape later on. Not all of them, but spot the difference. So. He's trying to keep me on my toes or something. Yeah, whatever. It's just so difficult, to find them all. Waldo. And people ask us always, there's probably questions in this thread, why don't you, sell them cheaply or discount or something like that? But I don't know, you can't do that, this is our, what's the word? I don't want to sound pretentious, but this is our brand. We're trying to put out our Mokuhankan publishing house. Here's a place where it really makes good stuff, better than many other companies here, and as good quality as we can. And it's like, I don't know what a good analogy is. Suppose there's some wine companies, one batch is not quite so good. So yeah, do they discount it and sell it? Well, no, because it'll, people will taste it and they'll think, oh God, that company is crap. It's a question of reputation and who we are and what we want to try and make, And any production process, somebody making sausages or anything, there's going to be stuff that's not quite so good in the batch. You're just getting warmed up or whatever, And you can't sell those things. There's a certain amount of loss that's just inevitable with any physical production process, I mean, think of an iPhone factory in China. There must be hundreds every day of phones that have a scratch or something, or, you got to pull them out. You can't let them go through, if it was a food factory, if we were making, food or something, you can take stuff that's slightly defective and not visually attractive and send it to a food bank or something. There's an easy solution for that kind of thing. Yeah, it's moisture in it. It's a wet cloth. It's a bit of just like a kitchen towel. What do you call it? Kitchen paper? In Japanese called kitchen paper. We buy it from Canada, actually. It's something that we get from Canada to use. I think it's not for kitchen use. It's for like man's workshop use down in the basement. And it's really, really super strong stuff. And so I moistened it, and what I'm trying to do is just get the paper dab, 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 a bit moist so that the embossing takes good hold. If I try and do the embossing on dry paper, it's just too much pressure. Try to force it in, it doesn't work. So we've got to soften up the paper first. So just like this, just a little dab. Make it moist, and quickly before it dries out, bang. Ideally, this embossing should have been done during the printing process while the paper was still moist. It would have been the last stage. But as I said earlier, one of our printers, Kubota-san, doesn't want to cooperate. So I'm supposed to be finished this. What's the time? Jesus, I thought I was going to be done by like 9 o'clock, and how am I going to waste the time on the rest of the stream? I'm not done. I'm the host for a 10 o'clock party this morning. We're still nearly sold out, party at 10, party at 1, party at 2:30, reservations still pouring in. I'm paranoid now, looking for those, sizing blobs. Have you ever taken a Japanese? No, I'm not interested in tests and stuff at all. I don't care about stuff like that. I'm good at some parts of Japanese and I'm terrible at some other parts. I've never studied this stuff, My Japanese has simply come from living and talking. So there's many, many things I don't know. When people learn kanji and stuff, they sit down and they learn the level 1 kanji, the level 2, level 3, level 4, bang, 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 bit by bit by bit. I've never done that. So there's tons of kanji I don't know. I can read this. Hori, Buru, Suri, Kubota Kenichi. But there's lots and lots of kanji I don't read. And I'm not the slightest bit interested in getting proficiency level number 74. I don't care about stuff like that. Just a waste of time, If you're in college or whatever and you need a test to find out how to get a job in Japan, that has some meaning. But for me, no thank you. Too busy making prints. That's my excuse for being very bad at some parts of Japanese. Can't be helped, This must be it. It's nearly 9:30, isn't it? Today's Wednesday. It's staff today is Shiba-san and Audrey-san, the French girl. This is one of those days where the clock is just going to spin, spin, spin all day long. I can see it already. Shiba-san, good morning. Wednesday. I say hello to the streamers here waiting for you. This is Shiba-san today with her mask on. Ohayo to you kana? Minamate. This is Shiba-san. so they're looking here. So. 今日渋さんとオードリーさんですか？
そうそうそう。
パーティー結構多いね。4人です。
はいはいはい。
そう、僕ちょっとだけ用意したハケを濡らして紙を OK。多分紙ちょっと足りないですから、お昼ぐらいにまた入れること。そう。
わかりまし
パーティーは2人じゃない、4人パーティー。4人パーティー、また4人パーティーですね。そう。僕も出ますから。
た。お願いします。
1週間の間に本当にアップダウンすごい混んでる時、レジも多い、パーティー多い日もいますし、誰もいない。思いますけど。Good morning, Audrey-san. Hello. Do the Twitchers know who you are? Have they met you before? I don't know.
I don't think so.
今ストリーム中ですが、This is Audrey from France, working for us here. She's in Japan learning how to do carving. She's going to try and take away my job one day. でしょ? So, we're training our replacements. So.
Pressure.
Stress.
はい、元気ですよ。
棚にあるみかん、石上さんからのお土産です。あそこのみかん、石上さんから。Oh, we have French comments here. Ooh. そう、とか。Maybe we have even people watching from France. I've got no idea.
What did it say?
I don't think, sir.
Bonjour.
We got really lucky. It was last week or 2 weeks ago, Wednesday. There was a group coming for a print party from France. So, of course, they got special service to show.
They did, yeah.
Speak to them in France. So, wonderful. Was it France or Canada? They were Quebec or they were France?
There were a couple from Canada, plus a couple from France.
So you're speaking Canadian French and French together. Oh! Is that trouble or is that...
Did French.
Soka. Is there stress like that? People are, oh, that's not real French or something like this? Is it?
Make up a word at some point and someone corrected me. I think I did make up a word.
We get it now and then when there's a couple from America and a couple from Britain or whatever. What language are you speaking? You know, it comes up like this. So, you know.
It's a bit like having lefties and righties.
Yeah. So. Okay, gang, I got to think about getting out of here. It is 9:30 and I've got to get ready for my stint in the party room. I've also got to send the overnight orders. The way our workflow here, you know, many orders come in from North America, Canada, whatever. And they come in, of course, during our night time. They're 8 hours ahead of us. So in every morning's email, there's a bunch of orders. And the Ome staff, they start at 9:30. They're coming to work just about now. In 2 minutes or so, the Ome staff will be getting to work. And the first thing they do is they head for their desk and they print out the stuff that's all the orders that came in overnight. And I've got to process that right now. I've got to do that first. So before I do the print party, I've got to get the Ome orders ready. Then during the day for us, as it gets to our afternoon, Europe comes awake and orders start to come in from Europe for processing. So we have actually 24 hours a day. There's orders dribbling into our mailbox bit by bit by bit. So this is not finished yet, but I have no choice. I've got to switch to other jobs. Okay, where are we with the schedule here? This is Wednesday here in Tokyo. No stream tonight, of course. We're still totally impossible to think about a double stream each day. I'll be back here tomorrow. This will be finished by then. What will I be doing? I could be doing upstairs test printing on the New Year's card, or what am I going to be doing tomorrow? I don't remember. I could be doing carving of the first print in next year's subscription series here. It'll be one of those two things. See you then. Thanks for watching, guys. Same time, same station. See you tomorrow. Sounds like a TV program, doesn't it? Same
Yeah.
time, same station. Tune in again tomorrow. Now for a commercial break. You gonna give a commercial break, cameraman?
Oh, yeah.
Advertise something. Okay.
Which drink should I have?
Okay. Good. Thanks very much. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Open mic. Remember, don't forget this. Mic is live. Say something nice about the Twitchers.
Oh, they're all so nice. I hope I'm not getting called too many names.
Who knows? Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.